My name is Leslie Freeman, and I want to tell you about Reach Out and Read, my service leadership project. Before I tell you about my project, I feel like you need to know a little bit about my school. Shoal Creek Elementary is the largest elementary in the Liberty School District of 11 elementary schools. It has 812 students that are currently enrolled in grades kindergarten through 5th. Shoal Creek's clientele is comprised of a very blessed group of socioeconomic status people. Only 4.4% of the school's population qualifies for free or reduced school lunches, which is very, very low compared to the Kansas City area, in which 72.3% of students are eligible for that free and reduced lunch. With that said, there are many current programs to meet area needs based on the fact that the clientele at Shoal Creek has a very generous and a great ability to give to people in the surrounding areas. One thing is called Shoal Creek Serves. This is a year-long project where the school takes in all kinds of non-perishable and at sometimes perishable foods when it gets close to the time to pack these up for families. Right now they're serving 30 families. They're bumping that up to 40 and plan to bump it up to 50 soon. Also, the Adopt a Family for Christmas has started with 3 families, and we got an email today saying that there has been so much response. We are bumping it up to 4 families, which is an incredible blessing to be able to help so many people. So knowing that about Shoal Creek, that they are a very servant-forward school, kind of helped me decide what I was going to do for my servant leadership project. Because there's currently so many service projects going on within my building, I knew I wanted to do something that wouldn't be a project where students would have to go home and ask their parents for money or to go out and buy something new. So I looked around and came across Reach Out and Read. Reach Out and Read is an organization that is nationwide, but we have a Kansas City chapter, which is housed primarily through UMKC and works through Children's Mercy. Each year, Reach Out and Read Kansas City provides nearly 84,000 new books to 30,000 low-income children. These kids are going to the doctor and are receiving a book with each visit, hoping to build a library in their home before they enter kindergarten. These kids are kids who normally would not have an at-home library if it weren't for Reach Out and Read. So I knew it would be a wonderful project for students who have so much to be able to give something that they have to someone who doesn't. This video from our school news gives a little bit of information about why Reach Out and Read and what it's all about. Featured in this video are students from mine and Miss Barney's class who signed up to be part of the newscast and to share their service in this direction.
Mrs. Freeman and Miss Barney students tell us about an organization called Reach Out and Read. Maybe you have some books that you could donate. Here's more.
Reach Out and Read provides books to 50 clinics in the Kansas City area. These books go to kids who otherwise may have no books in their home. Shoal Creek has the opportunity to help Reach Out and Read provide books to kids in Kansas City. You can help by donating new or gently used books during our book drive. Bring books starting next week through the end of November. We will deliver these books so Reach Out and Read can give them a new home. Thanks for the donation. So starting next week through the end of November, bring new or gently used books to donate. Help KC area kids build an at-home library. Look through books you have grown out of. They give books to babies and 65-year-olds. So you have more books per day. Reach out and read! Reach out and read!
This video from our school news, as with any project, I needed a plan for action. The first thing was to get students involved. So I used a Google Doc that I had created a grid for, and I linked it to our classroom website. I allowed students to go on the dock and sign up for different areas. There were several areas that more students wanted than others, but everyone was very flexible and just excited to have a part in the whole project. Something I knew that needed to happen was to have a really good timeline as far as our action plan, and so I decided that collecting through November would be a great idea because students would have some time over the Thanksgiving break to go through the books that they had at home that they didn't need anymore. Also, I had a great group of teachers and administrators who helped with some extra jobs like collecting supplies, the amazing video that was used on our school news, and helping me collect and deliver the books. Thinking about the scope of this project, at first I wanted to keep it small and do only fourth grade, but then I realized it would give more books to more kids if I opened it up for our entire building. So we did a grades K through 5 book drive. I did 5 days of collection. I expected about 100 books to come in. And really it's hard to know without knowing exactly how many books would come in and what would be appropriate, how many kids in Kansas City could be reached by this project. The constraints I noticed when doing a project like this were, of course, time. There's only so many hours in the day and so much time in a school day. Those minutes are so precious, so choosing how to use them with kids that wouldn't take away from their time to learn was something that was hard for me. Also, I needed something that would continue promotion. With a building that is so large, there's so much going on, and kids forget. So I needed to figure out a way to continue to promote the book drive. When it comes to leadership, I had a great team. First, I had an amazing group of 50 students who chose jobs. When there are so many students who want to help, it was hard to kind of level that out and decide who could help where, but it all turned out to be wonderful and everyone got to have a job that they felt valued in. They got to choose their jobs, whether they were making posters or being in the newscast or helping collect the books or even just packing them up for delivery. Teachers were a great help too. Like I said, those minutes during the day are really tricky to try to decide how to allocate that time. So I have a wonderful co-teacher who helped cover my class and another wonderful teacher in the LMC, our media center, who created our news story and put it all together for our newscast for our school. Also, I had some help from our administration by collecting those packaging supplies and making sure I had what I needed for the drive to actually occur. When I reflect on this project, I feel like the successes far outweigh the challenges. When I look at all of the books that were collected, I am in awe of how generous our building's children are. Those kids were so excited to bring in books for someone else that they knew needed them and that they were going to get a new great home. With that said, our participation was excellent. I had students who were so excited to bring them in. They had a bag full of books. The kids were thrilled that they were getting to help other people and that they didn't have to go out and buy something to bring in. I think parents enjoyed that also, as we asked them for so much. Of course, there are a couple of challenges. Right now during the year, there is a lot going on. As mentioned, our Shoal Creek Serves food drive is a constant throughout the year. We also had a harvester's food drive going on during this time and an adopt a family donation drive. So there's a lot going on, a lot of requests being made for things to be brought in. So doing a different kind of service project during this time was maybe something I could have chosen differently. Time was also very short during this time because of the holiday breaks. It was hard to choose a time that would be best for kids. So doing it over Thanksgiving break and giving them some time after, I felt was my best option because that would give them some time during that break to kind of go through their stuff that they had at home and decide what they needed and didn't. Also, it feels like events at school that are repeated events, like every year this happens, are much better attended to and participated in. And this is not a repeated event. This is the first time I've done something like this. So our participation could be higher if it is a repeated event. Reflecting helped me think about what I would want to do next year to make things better. The first thing is to really encourage students to be a part of that news and let them write the script for what they're doing. Giving them that ownership will be something that will really pump up that spot on the news. Also, to have reminders in the morning announcements. They did that for our food drive, and I felt like it was a little bit better attended to because of those repeated announcements for students to understand what is going on and that it's still happening. Another thing I think could make things better would be to have collection bins in each hallway. I only had collection places in two different spots, and I feel like not as many people would walk by those as if I had them in each hallway. I will make sure to keep what I have from this year to show students how they affected other kids in Kansas City and get them excited about it for next year. So if I show them how much we collected this year and kind of make it a challenge, I think that will help students kind of be more invested. The last thing is to maybe keep track of how many books have been brought in so that they can try to beat their score or bump it up a little bit. I think next year, thinking about the things that happened from this year will make me more successful. In all, I feel like the Reach Out and Read Service Leadership Project as a book drive was very successful, and I think that doing this year after year to help collect books for Kansas City kids will be something that Shoal Creek will continue to do.